Hi and welcome to this week's energy forecast. I am Rachel Thompson Phillips and this is the energy forecast for April the 2nd through to April the 8th. So I hope everyone has had a fabulous and wonderful Easter break. This week's energy forecast, primarily its theme is around change. So it means to be really, really patient. So we have just had a full moon, which was just the other night, and full moon is also all about bringing things to the surface, deciding on what you want to release, what you want to let go of, and also what you want to be able to replace those things with. So this is the week where the transformation starts to occur. So Monday through till Tuesday is about femininity. Wednesday through till Friday is all about change. And Saturday and Sunday is all about speak your truth. So starting with the start of the week, femininity is about being really, really gentle with yourself whilst you make these transitions through to the change that you want to have in your world. We've so much moved out of the space of coming from a real masculine place of push, shove, force, and make shit happen, use that real macho attitude to implement change in our world, and it's currently no longer serving anyone that much anymore. The changes that are needing to come through at this point, our mindset is needing to be coming from a more feminine aspect, which means being more gentle with yourself, understanding that femininity has a massive strength within its own conviction in itself. So you don't need to use that harsh kind of internal dialogue in order to make those changes occur. You'll be finding now through these next coming weeks that the mind is dropping in little conscious droplets of ideas and suggestions on how you can make those changes occur. So listen for those quiet little voice that's coming through. Use that gentle mannerism about implementing change. Think about ways in which you can create the change that you want to see in your own self, and do it from a softer approach, and you will find that you will be able to achieve that so much more effortlessly, because the soul is just needing a little bit of nurturing. As it's gone through that transitional period of the full moon, we're highly sensitive. And so that, therefore, it means that we are wanting just that real gentle approach to saying, hey, you can create the change. Yes, the ideas that you've got going in your head of seeing yourself, let go of some, thoughts, feelings, actions, and behaviors that have no longer served you anymore. You can really do this now. Now, those voices coming through, and to me, this is also the card of courage as well, because courage is not something that screams and yells at us. It is a quiet voice that comes from within that reminds you of your own magnificence, of your own internal strength that you have. And this is that time to be able to access it and take it to the next level by having a softer approach to it because of that sensitivity that you're feeling at this point. So also listen for those quiet voice that's coming in, giving you tiny little ideas on how you can create the change that you want to be able to see, and be able to offer you with gentle little suggestions on how to go about being able to implement the steps that it will take to be able to create the change that you want. Because therefore what that does is it allows you to remove that mask. When we come from a feminine flow, especially for a lot of very, very strong, more masculine women. Now, when I say this, a lot of the time some people feel like, well, if you're saying that you're a masculine woman, that there's something wrong with it. It's not. It's just being able to know when to be able to access and utilize the masculine element in ourselves to be able to get the results that we want, as well as being able to know when to execute that feminine flow to be able to also achieve that result, remembering, always knowing that there is always more than one way to achieve your goal. Now, this is the time that we remove that mask of getting really, truly honest with ourselves, coming from that real raw place in yourself and being able to say, hey, what is not working in your world anymore? And being able to really, truly identify with that. And then being able to also know that there is that internal resource within you that is going to back you, support you, and nurture you whilst you move into that space that you so desire right at this point. And all that is doing is helping us remove that mask, and we can come from a real true space of true honesty. And that is what the soul is really craving for at this time. Not just this whole aspect of that honesty of what you want to let go, but also that honesty of all of the amazing qualities that you have in yourself that you can access to be able to help you transition through the different phases that it's going to take to be able to create the change that you want to see and be able to have in your world. Because when we decide to surrender and let things go, some of those things we may have done for a very, very long time. So there's going to be elements of fear. There's going to be elements of tears. There may be elements of anger. There may be elements of aggression that just goes, you know what? Fuck it, I've had enough of doing this and I want something so much. Now, whatever it is that has become your trigger to really step into that space to let go of some of these thoughts, feelings, actions, and behavior that you may have been doing for a really long time, remember, please, please, please remember that there is an internal resource within you that you can access to be able to help you through this period of change and learning to be comfortable with the new you. Because you remember, these things that you've done for a really long time have become a part of who you are. We identify them as part of our identity. So when we remove them, we're also removing a little part of what we have identified with. And so we have this period where we feel a little bit uncertain. It's almost like feeling like you're standing naked in the middle of the road and everyone's looking at you. And that is sort of for some people will feel those extreme levels of vulnerability when they decide to surrender and let go. But remember, through that vulnerability has its own empowerment within its own self, because it allows us to tap into that coreness of yourself, because there is a very big reason as to why you're wanting to let something go now. So don't get caught up on letting go. Connect into that feeling of what is it that makes it so important for you to want to be able to make that change. And all of this helps us to be able to take that mask off from being able to, just attach on to an aspect of ourselves that's just not generating anything good from ourselves anymore. And so this is a real important key element to be mindful of, is that there will be a sensitivity, but through that sensitivity there's going to be a strength which is going to enable you to be able to speak your truth, being able to really verbalize why you want to let something go. Why is it so important? And what do you want to replace it with? And being able to share with your own self maybe some of those fears that are coming up. But then also being able to share the excitement of, from the moment that you decide to let something go, is the moment that you open up endless possibilities for your own self, because from this moment on you get to decide what choices you want to make from this moment on. So therefore, as much as most people identify with change and transformation is scary and daunting, there is also this key element where there is a lot of excitement, and it can be as much freaking fun as you want it to be. So shift your perception around change. Go in and have a look and see, what does change really mean for you? Even to be able to sit in there and say to yourself, what does change mean? And feel into the feelings that come up. Now, some people will get butterflies. Some people will feel a tightness in their throat. Some people will feel exhilarated and excited. Each person has a different feeling that they have when they think about change. Now, the beautiful thing that is occurring with this change at the moment is that it is allowing us to access this real brave courageous person, but it's also being able to really access the core truth of the person that you're wanting to grow into. And this is where our soul is coming in, and it is supporting us. It is giving us suggestions. It is giving us ideas. It is bringing beautiful new people into our world to be able to help us make those changes. We are starting to see that we are an endless supply of anything. Like for me, I've always said, you are never given a dream without the possibility of making it come true. And that dream is also about, as we move towards the dreams that we want to have in our world, we are letting go of some of the things that no longer serve us whilst inviting beautiful new things into this world. And so therefore, it can be a time of so much excitement in our world. Don't just attach on to the fears, the doubts, and those negative energy vibrations. Allow yourself to lift yourself back up again and go, oh my freaking God, how amazing will my life be when I have actually really created the change that I want in my world? What beautiful things will I be able to do when I've created that change? How different will I feel in my own self? Because in order to make those changes occur, you've got to believe in yourself, and believing in yourself when there's times where you get really challenged. And this is where we need to be able to have really great people in our world where we feel that we can be really honest and truthful with them and with ourselves, and know that there is no judgment. Because remember, you are the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with in your world. So this is a really great time to be mindful of your environment. Is also going to reflect whether you feel like you're going to be able to make those changes. Because if you're surrounded by a lot of negative people or people that love drama, then that transitional period is going to be a little bit harder. But I'm sure if you have a look in your circle of friends, there will be, even if there's 1 or 2 really solid people that you can share this with, these changes that you're going through, that are going to support you at this time. Because you know what? This is this time where we don't always need to be 10 foot tall and bulletproof. This is that time where we come in and we allow other people to provide us with strength, maybe on those days when we don't feel so strong in ourselves, to allow them to be able to give back to ourselves like you have given to others. So please be mindful of that. Don't shut other people out whilst you're making these transitions. Just be mindful of the people that you choose to surround yourself whilst you're making these important changes, because you are going to be learning so much about your own self through this time. And it's going to feel a little bit clunky as we make these changes, because when we make changes, we need to create change in our mindset. We need to create change in our action plan. We need to create change in being able to install new habits and new beliefs. So it's not just as simple as like today, hey, I'm going to just stop doing this. And that's great. But remember that it's a little journey that you're going to go on until such times as that change has been fully implemented. And this is where the excitement comes in, because you can choose to make this decision to be really, really hard, or you can choose an area of being a little bit softer with yourself and know that there will be some times that you may, sometimes that your mindset may get the better of you. That's okay. You know what you need to do to bring yourself back into balance again. You may find that there's times where if you're giving up a certain habit, you may find that for some people, they can just stop something straight away, and that's no problem. And then there's other people that they, make that immediate stop and then have those few little moments of weaknesses where they go back and do that same habit again. That is okay. Be gentle with yourself whilst you make this transition, and continue to believe in yourself, because there is something inside of you that is urging you that this is a beautiful time to make all of these decisions to bring your life back into balance, which all falls under the new full moon that we've had in Libra, which is all about finding balance. So I wish you all an exciting and amazing week this time, and I will see you again next week. Much love. Take care.